Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready?
All right, welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a exciting guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark Taylor. How are you guys? Thanks for having me on, Josh. I really appreciate it. This is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to chatting.
Yes, sir. I'm glad that you were able to make it, and I'm glad to talk with you and see what we got going on.
Yeah, man.
All right, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into music?
Yeah, I'm a country artist. I live in Nashville. I've been playing music my whole life and went to college down in North Carolina at Wake Forest University and did everything I could to, get out of school on the weekends and during the week and whatnot to go tour. And during college, I got to go out with Big and Rich for a little while and go do that. And then ended up opening for a bunch of different people and then found my way to Nashville permanently to live here about 2 years ago. I've been commuting back and forth for the last 4 or 5 years, but yeah, it's been crazy. Just these last couple of, I would say, months, we've been out with opening some shows and festivals for Russell Dickerson and John Party and Joe Nichols and really big people. And then next couple of weeks, we're doing some shows alongside Keith Urban and Train, and we're all over the place. So it's been crazy and putting some new music out, writing a bunch of songs for a lot of people, and just living life, man, loving it.
That's awesome. So as far as getting into music and finding that you wanted to be an artist and a musician, what kind of inspired you to jump into that?
Yeah, so my dad was a huge musician all from the time I was a kid. And he put his way through school playing covers and dive bars. So from the time I was 2 or 3 years old, I had a little tiny guitar in my hand, and I just sit there and strum nonsense chords. And then from the time I was 12 or 13, it became this thing of like, hey, you can go make 50, 60 bucks a night. Go play at the pool or go play over here. Go put a tip bucket out somewhere. Go do that kind of thing. And I just got hooked. And I went to school and I was like, you know what, if I can, I majored in not music at Wake. And my whole thing, I was like, if I can get through majoring in something not music and I still want to go do it, even after doing it on the weekends and whatnot, then I'll go back and give it a try. And it happened. But yeah, I owe a lot of it to my dad. And just in general, I grew up around a lot of music and a lot of, old records and stuff like that. And I fell in love with it. And that's been the driving force ever since I was a kid.
That's awesome. It's good to see that, there are still people out there following their dreams and being able to do what they love to do.
I love it. It's fun. And I feel so blessed every day. I get to go write songs with my heroes. I get to go tour with my heroes. And I pinch myself each day when I'm getting up in the morning. I love my job.
So what is the process like of starting a song from beginning to end?
Yeah, totally different. I've had songs that have taken 25 minutes and I've written it by myself. I've had songs that have taken, 3 days to write and there's 5 people in the room. So it depends on really what you're looking to do. In Nashville, I'd say most of the time we get together in groups of usually 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 4, but usually 3 is the average. And we'll sit down about 11 o'clock in the morning, 3, 4 days, 5 days a week, whatever. And so you pray someone has a good idea in the room because most of the time you're showing up hungover sometimes, or, you had a good time the night before and, you're making your way to your 11 a.m. But we all go down to Music Row about 11, 10:30-ish, and you go write songs till 3, 4 o'clock, and you get some lunch and you go hang out with people. But it's a very collaborative process, unless you're intentionally solo writing. But it's a lot of fun because you get to go, you're hanging out with your friends and you're putting words in a page that weren't there 20 minutes ago. So it's so fun, and you get to invent this story. You get to talk about stories that have happened to you. It's just this really fun thing. But yeah, we write a song. Someone does a little work tape. We might go and demo it or something like that. And then if I'm the artist in the room, I might go record it after that for a record, or sometimes we'll go pitch it to some people, or sometimes the publishers will go pitch it to some folks or the record label people. So there's a million different hands it can fall into after that. And then hopefully you guys hear it on the radio one day. But yeah, songs take this weird, it's not a normal route of this is exactly how you do it. It's a million weird things. And, there's some really big songs out there, like The House That Built Me. I think it was 7 or 8 years before that got recorded, and they kept rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it. So it's not just this thing that happens and all of a sudden the song's recorded. I've had that happen luckily once or twice where we've written the song, sent it to the artist, they recorded it the next day, and all of a sudden it's out within the next couple months. But usually it's a long process.
Sounds like a rewarding process, though, once you get to the end to see the work.
It's fun and it's cool because we wrote this morning. It's cool because someone brought in an idea, and we were all sitting there, and all of us were like, "Hey, what if we said it like this?" and told this really cool story, and so we invented something that wasn't there 2 hours before. And it's this really cool feeling when you get to, even an hour later, you sit back and you listen to the little demo we did, and I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like that, that's something I would either say or not say, whatever. But regardless, it's cool, and it wasn't there before, and we brought something out of thin air. This is cool, but it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, the creative process of that, you got to love it in order to be able to withstand that and keep creating content over and over and over.
Correct. And it's not easy. I mean, there are days where, especially this time of the year, people are starting to get back in the swing of things a little bit from the holidays and whatnot. And, the writes are a little bit slower this time of year. Once you hit February, March, they pick up a little bit faster. But yeah, I mean, everybody, you could have the worst day of your life and come in and write a song, and where you could have the best day and come write a song. It doesn't matter. Everyone's meeting in the middle somewhere. And it's definitely a challenging process. But for those of us that are tasked each day, very luckily, with doing it for a job, it's a lot of fun.
Excellent, excellent. So getting into some of the stuff that you've put out, when
Yeah,
you put out your first couple of songs, what was that like when you put them out and then saw them take off?
yeah. I mean, it was unreal. I mean, we did a record in college, and it's an old record, but there were a couple singles we got off that, and just like seeing like one of them charted on a really cool like fan voted music chart, and I was like, that's awesome. People are streaming it. I mean, we got on a bunch of big Spotify playlists. Like, it was cool just from the out of the gate. We had success very, very fortunately and luckily right out the gate with that. And then I didn't put music out for a long time, but seeing the early stuff work really was a driving force in, okay, let's move to Nashville. Let's do this. How can we make this work? And then I got here and got with my production team and got a great group of writers in, and we started writing even more. And that's the thing, is when you come to Nashville and you record and you write here, you do all that stuff, the songs are just so much elevated because of that, because everyone here is so good. So, there are some bad songs in town, but when you get to a certain level, it's like everyone's up to snuff. Everyone's really good at what they do. So I'm so blessed to have, really great writers in the room every day, and we can go write these songs, and it's been cool. But yeah, then we put out a couple singles. Dust Off That Dirt was a really big one for us. That was one that went to radio, which was really cool. We got a bunch of radio ads for that guy, and did Remember the Party just after that, and that was one of my favorites. That was an old college story from a couple of us in the room, and then we got a new one coming out. It's called Brooks and Dunn.
Excellent, excellent. So what was it like touring with these big country music superstars?
Incredible. I mean, it's nothing short of that, because I grew up listening to all these guys, so it's the coolest thing in the world. And my first real big show with a national act was Big and Rich, and getting to just watch how they operate backstage. And I was like 19 or 20 at the time, like I was a kid, and I'm looking around, I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, they're getting paid to get up there and sing songs they love, and it's awesome. And that was really such an inspiration to me. But I mean, it's incredible. I mean, getting to work with those guys, and fortunately calling some of them friends and colleagues, and it's unbelievable. You get to go out and watch the best of the best do it every night, and it's cool because this summer we had the unique experience of bouncing around to a bunch of different people. So it was like something that, so and so's doing backstage is totally different from what so and so's doing backstage, and I have crazy stories from all of them that can never be repeated, but it's we all have fun. And it was amazing just to get to pick their brains for a couple days, or even a day, or even an hour, whatever. It's awesome because they've hit that peak of like, this is what it's like to do this and be really successful at it, and just have all that wonderful success going on, and it's inspiring. I mean, each time, we get to go out, very luckily, and we're going to do some stuff with Train and Keith Urban coming up here in a couple of weeks, and I just can't wait to sit. We're sharing the same facilities or whatever backstage. I just can't wait to sit and hang with those guys. There's so much life experience there that it's so cool. And I'm a lifelong learner. I love talking to people. I love learning about other people's experiences and what they've done and whatnot. And it's going to be really cool. It's my favorite part of the job, is sitting down and talking to those guys and just, how did we both get here? This is so cool. How did you get to where you are? And, helpful tidbits of advice and whatnot. So it's a lot of fun is the short answer.
Yeah, I can only imagine, it'd be almost like meeting your heroes. You listen to them on a daily basis. You wonder what it's like to meet them, and then you actually meet them. You know, and
Absolutely.
it's awesome to see that, you know, the old saying of never meet your heroes is not true because,
Me too.
you know, you had great experience with them.
Yeah, and then they all took really good care of me, which I really appreciate. I mean, just getting to work with a lot of those guys. I mean, I'll give you an example. We were with Joe Nichols, and one of the biggest Joe Nichols fans in the world. He walked backstage, and he gave me a hug. He was like, "What's up, man? You sounded great out there. Thanks for doing this." And I'm like, "This is the coolest thing." And we just sat there and talked. And his band they're the coolest guys in the world. And we hung out all day long during sound checks and whatnot. And it was unbelievable. But those guys, it's like obviously there are some I'm sure that aren't nice, but I haven't met any of them. I mean, everyone we've been out with, I've been so impressed with. They've been so kind, and Joe was just such a great person to hang out with and be around, and we had such a good time together. But yeah, I mean, it's situations like that where they always do say, "Don't meet your heroes," and then it gives you a little bit of hope after you meet a couple, and you're like, "These are really good guys. I could hang out with them," and they're all really nice. I promise.
That's always good to hear. So, jumping into up and coming projects, things that you have coming out. I hear tell you've got something coming out tomorrow. Well, if you're watching this, it'll be today, but this was recorded on Thursday.
Absolutely. It's called Brooks and Dunn. So I grew up one of the biggest Brooks and Dunn fans in the world as well, and actually had the pleasure of writing that day with a guy named Steve O'Brien, who wrote a big song for them called Rock My World, Little Country Girl. And my buddy Dan walked in knowing that I love Brooks and Dunn and knowing that Steve had written a big hit for them, and said, "I have this title called Brooks and Dunn, and we changed Ronnie Dunn's last name to Done. We'll throw all of their big song titles in there, and we'll make it about a girl." And I'm like, "That is so cool! I'm totally in." And we wrote it, and it's been one of my favorite songs. We recorded it and wrote it. I mean, gosh, that was a year and a half ago, maybe even more, that we recorded and wrote that. We recorded and wrote that one. But oh my gosh, it's such a fun song. I love singing it live. It always gets the crowd up and excited, and yeah, it's been really cool. Hopefully, by the time you guys are watching this, we have bazillions of streams already. But yeah, tonight, 11 o'clock, which is, really for us, Thursday night. It's coming out on the Central Time, midnight on the East Coast, so Friday. And I am just so over the moon to have this one out in the world for you guys. It's going to be so fun.
Can't wait to hear it.
It'll be fun, man.
So, as far as up and coming tours, do you have anything big coming up other than, getting with Keith Urban and Train?
Yeah, I mean, we got some big old festivals coming up that have not been announced yet, so I can't leak those quite yet. But we're going to be on some really big festivals this year, and then doing a lot of, oh gosh, we're going to be, I will tell you right now, because I don't know off the top of my head where exactly we're going to be. I know we're going to be in Alaska at some point. We're going to be in Vegas at some point. We're doing a whole loop around the country. And when I say the country, we're going everywhere. It's crazy. So it's going to be a crazy year. I can tell you that much. There's some really cool surprises I can't share yet, but there's some cool stuff on the horizon in addition to what's already been going on. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent. So you definitely need to be looking out for that, and I will too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to chat with me and tell us a little bit about yourself. And, I can't wait to hear this new song that comes out
There we go.
today.
Today. Go stream it right now. It's called Brooks and Dunn. You can find it Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your stuff. You'll be able to find all that good stuff there.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, I greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, Josh. Thank you, brother.
And yes, sir. Thank you. And I hope you have a good afternoon.
You too. We'll see you, man.
Down, down.